In every quiet suburban house, secrets are tucked away, but in the Miller's home, the secrets weren't hidden in the attic or buried in the garden. They danced on the walls. It all started with their son, Leo. He was a quiet boy, with eyes that seemed to hold ancient knowledge. While other kids played with toy cars and building blocks, Leo's favorite playmates were the shadows. At first, it was charming. His parents, Sarah and Tom, would watch him giggle as he made shadow puppets on his bedroom wall. A rabbit, a dog, a soaring bird. But soon, the charm curdled into something unsettling. Leo's shadows began to move on their own. The shadow of his teddy bear would wave back at him. The silhouette of a toy soldier would march across the wall, independent of the toy itself. Leo wasn't just making shadow puppets. He was conducting an orchestra of darkness. Sarah tried to rationalize it. "It's just a trick of the light, Tom," she'd say, her voice thin. But she knew it wasn't. One evening, she saw it happen with her own eyes. Leo was sitting on the floor, his back to the wall, yet his shadow stood up, stretched, and then sat back down. It was a perfect fluid motion, a silent mimicry of life that had no source. The air in the room grew cold. Fear began to creep into their home, a guest as unwelcome as the shadows themselves. They started keeping the lights on at all times, flooding every corner of the house with artificial daylight. But the shadows were persistent. Find refuge in the sliver of darkness under a door or the space behind a bookshelf, waiting for Leo. Then came the whispers. Faint at first, like the rustling of dry leaves, they seemed to emanate from the very walls of Leo's room. Sarah would press her ear to the door at night and hear hushed conversations. It wasn't Leo's voice. It was a chorus of soft, sibilant whispers, speaking in a language she couldn't understand, yet the meaning felt chillingly clear. They were teaching him. Tom, a man of logic and reason, was unraveling. He installed night vision cameras in Leo's room, desperate for an explanation. The footage was worse than his darkest fears. As Leo slept soundly, his shadow would detach from his small body. It would climb the walls, contorting into monstrous shapes long spindly limbs, gaping mouths, and jagged claws. It would dance with other shadows that seeped into the room from under the door and through the window frame. A silent, terrifying ballet. The whispers grew louder, no longer just in Leo's room, but echoing through the entire house. They called his name. Leo, ... come play. Join us, ... double quotes. Sarah and Tom were prisoners in their own home, haunted by their son's silent friends. They tried talking to Leo, pleading with him to stop. He would just look at them with those old, knowing eyes and smile. "They're just my friends," he'd say. "They're lonely." One night, the house fell completely silent. The constant, low hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the floorboards, the whispers all gone. It was a suffocating, absolute silence that was more terrifying than any noise. Alarmed, Sarah and Tom rushed to Leo's room. The door was ajar. They pushed it open, their hearts pounding a frantic rhythm against their ribs. The room was bathed in moonlight, and it was empty. The window was wide open, the curtains fluttering in the cold night breeze. Leo was gone. But he wasn't alone. On the wall opposite the window, a single shadow was projected. It was the silhouette of a small boy, holding hands with a tall, impossibly thin figure. As they watched in horror, the two shadows turned, waved a final, slow goodbye, and then simply faded into the wall, vanishing into the darkness they came from. Leo was gone, taken by the playmates he had so innocently welcomed into their lives. And all that was left in the silent house was the creeping, empty dark. Thank you for watching. If this story sent a chill down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe, and maybe keep a light on tonight.